Have you ever read a story and just thought to yourself, why there? Why did the author pick that specific setting? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today with Katherine Center's Happiness for Beginners. We're going to break down why this really powerful story about grief, about resilience, why it just had to be set out in the wilderness.
So here's our game plan. We'll start at rock bottom with our protagonist, then see how the wilderness acts as this giant mirror to what's going on inside her. We'll look at the lessons she learns, the huge role her community plays, and then wrap it all up with the core idea here, the power of proof, not promises.
And just so you know, everything we're talking about comes from a really deep analysis of the novel. We're zeroing in on how that unique setting is the engine for the main character's entire transformation. All right, first things first. We have to get a handle on exactly where our protagonist, Helen, is when the story kicks off. And look, we're not just talking about being a little sad. We're talking about a life that has completely ground to a halt. So you gotta understand, Helen isn't looking for a fun new hobby here, you know? This isn't some Instagrammable adventure. No, she signs up for this absolutely brutal wilderness survival course because she is desperate. Her life, it just feels broken. She's not trying to thrive. She's literally just trying to figure out how to survive her own reality.
And that's the big question, right? She could have gone to therapy. She could have taken a nice, relaxing vacation. But the story deliberately shoves her into this incredibly challenging environment. So let's unpack why that choice is so important.
So, how does the wilderness actually work its magic? Well, it's not just a pretty backdrop. It's an active character in this story. It doesn't create Helen's problems, but boy does it make it impossible for her to run from them anymore. Think about it. This entire environment is basically designed to strip everything away. There are no phones to distract you, no mirrors to manage how you look, and definitely no quick exits. You can't just numb out or fake it till you make it. Every single day, Helen is forced to be totally present, with her thoughts, her fears, and the very real consequences of every little choice she makes. Now, the concept that powers this whole thing is something called constructive stress. This is a huge idea in outdoor education. The goal isn't to traumatize someone. It's about applying just enough pressure to shake up those old, unhelpful patterns and force you to find a strength you had no idea was even there. And what ends up happening is that the chaos on the outside, the exhaustion, the hunger, the constant uncertainty, it all starts to perfectly mirror the chaos she's feeling on the inside. She already feels lost and exhausted. The trail doesn't invent these feelings. It just holds up a giant, unavoidable mirror to what's been there all along.
Okay, so with all the distractions gone, what does Helen actually learn out there? This part is all about the real, hands-on lessons, the kind you can only learn by doing, not just by thinking.
Okay, and this right here, this is one of the biggest, most powerful mindset shifts in the entire story. See, back in her old life, failure felt, well, it felt final, like a judgment, an endpoint. But out on the trail, failure's just information. That's it. You took the wrong path. Okay, that's just a data point. You adjust, you reroute, you keep going. It completely rewires the whole idea of what it means to make a mistake.
And this is how real self-trust gets built. It's not about repeating affirmations or having someone tell you you can do it. It's a tangible loop. You face something hard, you make a decision, you live with the outcome, good or bad, and you walk away with concrete, undeniable proof that you handled it.
But here's the thing. This is not a solo mission, not even close. A massive piece of this puzzle is the wacky group of people Helen is hiking with. The people out there are just as critical as the trail itself.
Each person basically shows her a different way to be. Wendy teaches her that joy is a skill you can practice. Jake shows her that being patient and emotionally safe is a superpower. Pickle demonstrates the power of just being there for someone without trying to fix them. And her own brother Duncan forces her to see that people aren't stuck, they can actually change.
What's so amazing is that the wilderness is this great equalizer. Who you were, what you did for a living, how much money you had, none of that matters out there. The only thing that matters is, can you adapt? Can you cooperate? Are you useful right now? This shared struggle just melts away all the usual social armor.
So that brings us to the big finish, the ultimate takeaway from Helen's whole ordeal. What does she actually leave the woods with? And spoiler alert, it isn't happiness. It's something much stronger.
And here it is, the central idea of the entire book. The opposite of her despair isn't belief, it's evidence. You can sit around all day trying to convince yourself that you're capable, but nothing, absolutely nothing, beats having cold, hard proof that you walk the miles and you survive the falls.
This is so important to get. The trail isn't a magic wand. Her problems don't just disappear. The grief is still there. But what's changed, fundamentally, is her relationship with those hard things. She now has this unshakable foundation of proof that she can get through it. And this one line perfectly captures why this story had to happen right here. The wilderness is brutally honest. It doesn't promise you anything it can't deliver. All it offers is the raw, real, undeniable evidence of your own strength.
So, as we finish up, maybe think about this for a second. Most of us aren't going on a wilderness survival course anytime soon, right? But we all have moments, opportunities to collect our own evidence. So what's an experience in your life, big or small, that gave you that solid proof that you were way more capable than you ever gave yourself credit for?